Hey, this is the Ridge Runner with a very short tabletop review of the Super Edge by Cold Steel. Now this is a little mite I have been thinking about getting for a very long time now. In fact, I ordered one and somebody gypped me out of the order a long time ago, and I just didn't have the heart to order one again. But I found it for $12.95 on Amazon and thought, what the heck, I'm going to get myself one of these. Now, to preface, this is what I would consider to be what it would be an urban survival knife, if you want to call it that, or perhaps a basic utility knife. But I really find the value in something like this. It's small, but when they say super edge, they're not kidding. This thing has a darn good edge to it. It's sharp as a razor, and the serrations will make it last a lot longer for the kind of jobs you would ordinarily use this for. Now, to preface, I will say this is probably not the first choice for a knife you'd want to put into your bug-out bag as your primary survival knife. That being said, mounted to your key ring, this little blade will do a lot of work. Opening packages, opening up mail, cutting up your lunch, cutting twine and rope. And it's in such a small package that it doesn't necessarily seem intimidating. I mean, if you put it in the hand, it is literally the size of a pen knife or a small pocket knife blade. It is definitely qualifies as a pocket knife as far as I'm concerned. Just because it's a fixed blade doesn't mean it's not a pocket knife. You could definitely very comfortably and safely put this into your pocket. Now let's go over its quality, its features for a second here. It's got looks about a 1-inch stainless steel blade made by Cold Steel, so they pick a pretty good steel for it. It's probably that Krupp stuff that they like. It has a flat grind. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's a hollow grind, but it's got a very thin, flat grind going down to a hollow grind. It's really weird, but as I say, looks like it could sharpen up if you needed to. The way Cold Steel makes their serrations is that you've got one side here where you could technically use it on a regular sharpener and it will destroy the serrations quickly. It's got their rubberized grip that they like so much, their Creighton grip, which you can find on things like the Cold Steel SRK and other of the big brothers of this knife, which I again find to be one of the finest, the SRK being one of the finest knives you can carry in the woods for the price, or for any price for that matter. I love that knife. This has a lot of the features of its bigger cousins and bigger brothers. This is their Secure-X sheath. It's the same sheath material that they use on their full-size knives, and it does. The interesting thing about it is that because I think they were worried about retention on this. If you look at this knife, the Quillian is actually a disc guard. Now that's there for two reasons. One, to keep you from, if you're holding it like this, you can hold it like this. You can hold it in any given direction, and putting pressure on it is not going to make you have to slide your hand up onto the blade, and you don't want to do that. This will cut you silly. But the other thing it does is when it's engaged in the sheath, that round or disc or slightly oval guard engages the sheath in a way that makes it very hard for it to fall out. Don't get me wrong, this is a very easy blade to remove from its sheath, and that's a good thing too. I was actually concerned that maybe it would be a little bit difficult to remove, a little tight, but it hasn't shown to be that way. I've had this about a month now, and I have used it a lot. And as I said, used it for a lot of the aforementioned tasks: opening up boxes, opening up, opening up envelopes, food, anything, any of the small knife-like uses you would put a small pocket knife to. And the advantage of this over one of those little small pocket knives is it's not a folding knife. Like I say in a lot of my videos, folding knives are great. They have their purpose and they have their place in the world. But there's nothing as strong as a good fixed blade knife. And I'm pushing down on this right now just to point it out to you. This has a tang that goes all the way to here. It has to. I mean, I'm pushing down good and proper, and if this were just the rubber, it would be moving right now because I'm putting a lot of pressure on it. It feels very strong in the hand for something so small. It does have a lanyard loop, though. The only thing I could think of there'd be a reason to have it would be to have like a little braided lanyard to come off the end. So if you were to use this as a neck knife, you could do that. And this, by the way, would work very good as a neck knife. As I say, this is one of those little fixed blade knives that the sheeple aren't going to get intimidated by, or less likely to get intimidated by. Some of these people, if it looks like it's sharp, they're going to scream and, you know, run for the hills. But the average person is going to look at this and go, that's not even intimidating. And I mean, I'd go so far as this would be something to keep in your office desk drawer, you know, for the purposes of, again, opening boxes and things like that, and knowing that it's not going to fold up on you at the wrong time, and that sort of thing. Now, in an EDC roll, this gives you the ability to have a small fixed blade knife in places where maybe even the smaller fixed blade knives would still be frowned upon. The blade length makes it so that even in countries where knives aren't exactly kosher, this is definitely within the bounds of what most places, if you can justify it, and especially in England where you have to justify everything you have, you can justify this. I wouldn't carry it, you know, in London or in Manchester or York or wherever, any of the big cities. But if you can, you know, for in the field, or when if you have like a job where you're an electrician or whatever, this would be a good knife for that too. Actually, because of the rubber handle, it'd make it very good for stripping up wires and doing all that good stuff with it. Anyway, I'm no electrician, so maybe an electrician out there going, no, you can't use it because of this. Well, maybe you're right. But anyway, get one. They're $12.95 on Amazon. They might be a little more or a little less by the time you get to it. But for the price, they're not bad. They're small. They're cheap enough. You could probably buy a few of them for Christmas and birthday presents for people. Even people who ordinarily wouldn't carry a knife can put this on their key ring and it'll be there, or stick it out above the visor of their car. It comes with the key ring, but it wouldn't take very much to take a piece of waxed cord or something of that nature and run it through these two grommets up on the top and then be able to hang it as a neck knife. I even know one guy who has one of these that he hangs from his rear view mirror, so he can just reach out and pull down and remove this knife and be able to cut himself out of a seat belt or whatever. And for the price, I guess you could get away with having a few of these floating around for emergency purposes like that. Wouldn't be bad for a first aid kit either. Well, as I said, this is going to be a short review. I might take this into the woods just to do some cutting with it, but as I say, this is more of an urban knife than anything else. And but get one. You can't go wrong for the price, and the utility of this little knife cannot be denied. All right, this is the Ridge Runner signing off.